Hey guys, my name is Bob, welcome to my channel, and today I want to talk about why I'm diversifying into crypto and what I believe is fundamentally wrong with cash at the moment. So normally I hold 1/3 of my portfolio in cash, 1/3 in real estate, 1/3 into stocks and index trackers. But right now, if we look at what's happened in the past year, there's something going on. So we all know what's happened in the past year, but still, despite everything that's happening, we can see stock prices go up, shops which have to be closed are not going bankrupt. And the reason behind this is that there's just a lot of stimulation coming from the government. Now, so far, so good, government helping so we don't go into a big and deep recession like we did in the financial crisis, 2008. I understand. But if we take a look at this graph, and this graph is all the money, all the dollars that circulate. It's the M1 for the people who are a bit more technical about this. You can see that in the past year, it has almost doubled. So the total amount of money in circulation has almost doubled. And if you think about that, how does money work? Well, money is something that governments or central banks can just create out of thin air. They can just say, hey, you know what? Here's another $200 billion that we will put into the country, into making sure that things don't go bankrupt. And what happens with that money? Well, because there's a 0% interest rate, people put it into stocks, and that's why the stock market keep going up. That's one of the reasons. But you cannot just keep creating money and think there won't be an issue. If you know something about history, after the Second World War, in Germany, inflation went skyrocket. I mean, hundreds and 100%, sometimes even a day. And it was just because they kept printing money. They had to pay off a lot of debt to other countries. So by just creating money, they thought they could pay it off. But in return, the money just was valued less and less and less, so they had to create even more inflation. Same happened in Zimbabwe a few years ago. We had, I think, even a few million% inflation a day. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be happening over here, but you have to realize that creating money out of thin air, there's nothing to back it, right? Real estate, this house, there's bricks, there's, a lot of things that actually behind which represent the value. With money, they can just, maybe it's a piece of paper, but very often it's just something on the computer. They just punch in a few numbers and there's more money. And you cannot keep creating money without there being some form of negative effect. So my 1/3 of money right now, I foresee inflation. I foresee issues with the fact that, we have so much more money going on, and more is coming, right? Yellen and Biden just said there will be even more stimulation coming, so even more dollars will be created. And I just feel like having cash right now is not the thing that I want to be doing. Sure, I want to have my war fund. I always keep, 3 to 6 months worth of all expenses on my bank account, both in a personal bank account as well as my business to pay my employees and everything. But other than that, right now, I am starting to diversify more into crypto. Yes, I'll add some stocks and I'll add some real estate, but a portion of that will also go into crypto. Because what happens? Normally, what we do is we hedge our risk, is what it's called, right? So normally in a recession, the price of gold will go up because people feel gold is a safe place to go. There's like some value behind it, there's gold behind it, right? So in a recession, people run to gold out of the stock market, which is why that normally goes up. And that's hedging their risk into something a bit safe. So right now, I believe you should be doing the same with your cash, but then rather than going into gold, which you might do as well, I'm just not a very big fan of it. I believe that one of the things that will happen is that people will go more and more into crypto as well. So I will be diversifying. Again, if the dollar loses its value, this house will simply cost more dollars, right? Because there's something behind it. So there's no real risk of inflation there. There's not that effect in crypto, but I do believe that rather than running to gold, more and more people will start to run towards crypto, especially the bigger ones. Now, again, number one investing rule, never invest in something that you don't understand. So do a lot of research. I've been spending hours a day lately doing research into crypto, what kind of crypto I believe in, what technology behind certain crypto coins and markets are there. And then I'll pick the cryptos that I want to invest in and I'll start adding it to my portfolio. Yes, it's a bit more high risk than I would normally do, but I also believe that staying in cash is also a high risk at the moment. So all the cash creation with a 0% interest rate, which also leads to a lot of issues, which is another video, I believe is a fundamental risk right now for holding a lot of cash. So that is why I think it's smart for you. If you have access cash, think back about the Warren Buffett video where he says cash is good, having, the war fund, but access cash is dangerous. So have a bit of cash, and then if you have just too much cash laying around, think, where do I want to invest that? Where do I want to put that? Where I know that if inflation comes, I will still be safe. The price will just keep going up. I think that's important to do. At least it's important to be aware of the fact that this is happening. If you're interested in this, do some research on what M1 means, and M2 and M3 and how that is changing lately. Again, look at the graph and then make your own decisions. So if there was a value and you watched all the way to the end, you might as well subscribe, like, comment, all of those things, and I will see you in the next one.